Hi, I'm Edward Frenkel. I'm a professor at UC Berkeley and author of a new book which is called Love and Math. There's a nice painting of Van Gogh's Starry Night on the cover, so it's very easy to find it in a bookstore. Today I want to read you something from my book. It's really just the beginning of the book, in which I talk about the amazing hidden universe of mathematics. There we go. There is a secret world out there, a hidden parallel universe of beauty and elegance, intricately intertwined with ours. It's the world of mathematics, and it's invisible to most of us. This book is an invitation to discover this world. Consider this paradox. On the one hand, mathematics is woven in the very fabric of our daily lives. Every time we make an online purchase, send a text message, do a search on the internet, or use a GPS device, mathematical formulas and algorithms are at play. On the other hand, most people are daunted by mathematics. It has become, in the words of poet Hans Enzensberger, a blind spot in our culture, alien territory in which only the elite, the initiated few, have managed to entrench themselves. It's rare, he says, that we encounter a person who asserts vehemently that the mere thought of reading a novel or looking at a picture or seeing a movie causes him insufferable torment. But sensible, educated people, he says, often say, with a remarkable blend of defiance and pride, that math is pure torture or nightmare that turns them off. How is this anomaly possible? I see two main reasons. First, mathematics is more abstract than other subjects, hence not as accessible. Second, what we study at school is only a tiny part of math, much of it established more than a millennium ago. Mathematics has advanced tremendously since then, but the treasures of modern math have been kept hidden from most of us. What if at school you had to take an art class in which you were only taught how to paint a fence? What if you were never shown the paintings of Leonardo da Vinci and Picasso? Would that make you appreciate art? Would you want to learn more about it? I doubt it. You would probably say something like, learning art at school was a waste of my time. If I ever need to have my fence painted, I'll just hire people to do this for me. Of course, this sounds ridiculous, but this is how math is taught. And so in the eyes of most of us, it becomes the intellectual equivalent of watching paint dry. While the paintings of the great masters are readily available, the math of the great masters is locked away. However, it's not just the aesthetic beauty of math that's captivating. As Galileo famously said, the laws of nature are written in the language of mathematics. Math is a way to describe reality and figure out how the world works. A universal language that has become the gold standard of truth. In our world, increasingly driven by science and technology, mathematics is becoming ever more the source of power, wealth, and progress. Hence, those who are fluent in this new language will be on the cutting edge of progress. One of the common misconceptions about mathematics is that it can only be used as a toolkit. A biologist, say, would do some field work, collect data, and then try to build a mathematical model fitting those data, perhaps with some help from a mathematician. While this is an important mode of operation, mathematics offers us a lot more. It enables us to make groundbreaking, paradigm-shifting leaps that we couldn't make otherwise. For example, Albert Einstein was not trying to fit any data into equations when he understood that gravity causes our space to curve. In fact, there was no such data. No one could even imagine at the time that our space is curved. Everyone knew, quote-unquote, that our world was flat. But Einstein understood that this was the only way to generalize his special relativity theory, coupled with his insight that gravity and acceleration have the same effect. This was a high-level intellectual exercise within the realm of mathematics, one in which Einstein, in fact, relied on the work of a mathematician, Bernard Riemann, that was completed 50 years earlier. The human brain is wired in such a way that we simply cannot imagine curved spaces of dimension greater than 2. We can only access them through mathematics. And guess what? Einstein was right. Our universe is curved, and furthermore, it's expanding. That's the power of mathematics I'm talking about. Many examples like this may be found, and not only in physics, but in other areas of science. We will discuss some of them in this book. History shows that science and technology are transformed by mathematical ideas at an accelerated pace. Even mathematical theories that are initially viewed as abstract and esoteric later become indispensable for applications. Charles Darwin, whose work at first did not rely on mathematics, later wrote in his autobiography, and that's a direct quote, "I have deeply regretted that I did not proceed far enough, at least to understand something of the great leading principles of mathematics. For men thus endowed seem to have an extra sense. I take it as a present advice to the next generations to capitalize on mathematics' immense potential." When I was growing up, I wasn't aware of the hidden world of mathematics either. Like most people, I thought math was a stale, boring subject. But I was lucky. In my last year of high school, I met a professional mathematician who opened the magical world of math to me. I learned that mathematics is full of infinite possibilities, as well as elegance and beauty, like poetry, art, and music. I fell in love with mathematics. Dear reader, with this book, I want to do for you what my teachers and mentors did for me. Unlock the power and beauty of mathematics and enable you to enter this magical world the way I did, even if you are the sort of person who has never used the words math and love in the same sentence. Mathematics will get under your skin, just like it did under mine, and your worldview will never be the same. Mathematical knowledge is unlike any other knowledge. While our perception of the physical world can always be distorted, our perception of mathematical truth can't be. They are objective, persistent, necessary truth. A mathematical formula or theorem means the same thing to anyone, anywhere, no matter what gender, religion, or skin color. It will mean the same thing to anyone 1,000 years from now. And what's also amazing is that we own all of them. No one can patent a mathematical formula. It's ours to share. There is nothing in this world that is so deep and exquisite and yet so readily available to all. That such a reservoir of knowledge really exists is nearly unbelievable. It's too precious to be given away to the initiated few. It belongs to all of us. In this book, I will describe one of the biggest ideas to come out of mathematics in the last 50 years. The Langlands program, considered by many as the grand unified theory of mathematics. It's a fascinating theory that weaves a web of tantalizing connections between mathematical fields that at first glance seem to be light years apart. Algebra, geometry, number theory, analysis, quantum physics. If we think of those fields as continents in the hidden world of mathematics, then the Langlands program is the ultimate teleportation device, capable of getting us instantly from one of them to another and back. I want to tell you about all this, to expose the sides of mathematics we rarely get to see. Inspiration, profound ideas, startling revelations. Mathematics is a way to break the barriers of the conventional, an expression of unbounded imagination in the search for truth. Georg Cantor, creator of the theory of infinity, wrote, "The essence of mathematics lies in its freedom. Mathematics teaches us to rigorously analyze reality, study the facts, follow them wherever they lead. It liberates us from dogmas and prejudice, nurtures the capacity for innovation. It thus provides tools that transcend the subject itself. These tools can be used for good and for ill, forcing us to reckon with math's real-world effects. For example, the global economic crisis was caused to a large extent by the widespread use of inadequate mathematical models in the financial markets. Many of the decision makers didn't fully understand these models due to their mathematical illiteracy, but were arrogantly using them anyway, driven by greed, until its practice almost wrecked the entire system. They were taking unfair advantage of the asymmetric access to information and hoping that no one would call their bluff, because others weren't inclined to ask how these models worked either. Well, perhaps if more people understood how these models functioned, how the system really worked, we wouldn't have been fooled for so long. As another example, consider this. In 1996, a commission appointed by the US government gathered in secret and altered the formula for the Consumer Price Index, the measure of inflation that determines the tax brackets, Social Security, Medicare, and other index payments. Tens of millions of Americans were affected. But there was little public discussion of the new formula and its consequences. And recently there was another attempt to exploit this arcane mathematical formula as a backdoor on the US economy. Far fewer of these sorts of backroom deals would be made in a mathematically literate society. Mathematics equals rigor plus intellectual integrity times reliance on facts. We should all have access to the mathematical knowledge and tools needed to protect us from arbitrary decisions made by the powerful few in an increasingly math-driven world. Where there is no mathematics, there is no freedom. Mathematics is also as much part of our cultural heritage as art, literature, and music. As humans, we have hunger to discover something new, reach new meaning, understand better the universe and our place in it. But we can't discover a new continent like Columbus, or be the first to set foot on the moon. But what if I told you that you don't have to sail across an ocean or fly into space to discover the wonders of the world? They are right here, intertwined with our present reality, in a sense within us. Mathematics directs the flow of the universe, lurks behind its shapes and curves, holds the reins of everything from tiny atoms to the biggest stars. This book is an invitation to this rich and dazzling world. I wrote it for readers without any background in mathematics. If you think that math is hard, that you won't get it, if you are terrified by math, but at the same time curious whether there is something there worth knowing, then this book is for you. Thank you.